I guess, it's 5:01. I guess we can start. If anybody joins in, there's the opportunity to talk or ask questions, after I'm
Tony,
done. Yeah,
Tony,
yeah.
Howie Grady. You won't see my image, but I'm on the phone.
Okay, Howie, good. Thank you. And you got all the information I dropped off at your house, right?
I sure do. Thank you very much.
Very good. Um, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hope everyone is safe and healthy. It's a new world we live in, and tonight is new for all of us. Zoom is with us, and it looks like it might be here for a while. Um, On to values. The 2021 total is 2,301,126,606, approximately about 60 million more in value than 2020. Residential single family home sales continue to drive the total value up. The city did lose roughly 26 million in commercial value. Some industrial values did switch over to commercial due to the cannabis growth industry as we reclassified industrial buildings um, into that 393, which is a commercial agriculture um, code for the state. Um, Projects such as Amazon, People's Bank, Dunkin' Donuts, East Hampton Savings Bank have also spurred some economic growth on the commercial side. Single family values have increased to $207,000 on average, an increase of about 10,000 from fiscal year 2020. Right now, it is both a buyer and seller's market, with interest rates driving both sides of the market. The city of Holyoke has seen values rise for the last 6 years. With the city's value increase, the city can raise a tax levy of about 57,528,165. That is close to 1.5 million over from last year's 2020 total. Once the budget is balanced, city council will decide which tax rate is best for the city. Other than city council, other than the city council people present, if you speak, we'd just like you to, have your name, because someone doesn't, we can't see all names on phones. If you do speak, we'd just like you to speak for our minutes so that we can get those out to the city council as quick as possible. And if you don't live in the city, we also, if you run a business or on a committee or on a board and you feel like you want to speak, just tell us which board you're on. I hope everyone's safe. I usually start with Helene. She works for the Holyoke Taxpayers Association and is president. So I'm going to let her speak first, and then we can have counselors and other people speak. Okay.
Make sure I'm not, okay, I'm not muted.
Yep.
Thanks, Tony. It's interesting for us with Holyoke taxpayers to see the increase in the amount of money from the marijuana businesses. And also I'm happy to see that that houses are turning and they're higher priced than they have been in the past. I'm very concerned about the 26 million commercial loss, and I would love to see a list of the different businesses that we've lost. We keep on hearing from people that have had to close, have had to go out of business, are having problems getting people to come back. And then with the recent rise again in COVID cases in the area, some of the businesses, such as People's Bank, have had to change the way they're doing things. And the way they're open for the public. They're one of the ones primary here and a big focus within the community. I know the mall is having trouble with people coming and going and keeping on top of all of the regulations. And but I'm also thinking of the smaller places, those that may not be able to have people back at their bars. They may not be able to have people coming in and out of retail establishments. Some of them have actually folded up and closed. And I think it's great to have this new money on board coming in. But I think we have to also be, as we're looking at all of this, and I guess this is more for the city councilors, keep in mind those that have been around and have been supporting the tax bills that are supportive of the city. They're the ones that have been, sponsoring those teams throughout the year. They're the ones that donate to all of your causes when you're looking to raise money. And I don't want us to lose focus on that. I'm here tonight as president of the Holyoke Taxpayers Association. I'm a very long time resident of Holyoke, and I have recently stepped into taking over the chair of the Government Affairs Committee at the Chamber of Commerce. So I'm hearing, I'm not hearing the really good things all the time. I'm hearing a lot of the things of the people that are struggling, whether it's down on Main Street or it's up, up on Route 5, or if it's out at the mall or all over the city. So I just encourage us to keep all of that in mind. And if we have money that's new this year, I don't know if we can increase the amount of money that's going in to be held, but I'd love to see much of that put away so that we can eventually get back to the point of looking at the new schools that I know the city needs and that everybody had wanted. Not everybody, but a lot of people had wanted, but we just really couldn't afford. And thank goodness we don't have that facing us this year. And back to that 26 million commercial, at some point, if it's at all possible, I'd like to have a list of who are the businesses that have gone out. And then I guess the other question to you and for the public, for everybody's understanding, what happens to the guy that is held on, but has held on by a thread? And how can his tax bill change for this year coming up? So that's me starting things off, and I'm sure I'll think of more as we're going along tonight, but thank you, Tony.
Okay, I think Joe McGivern had raised his hand, so we're going to get to your question. And I think with the other questions, your question will be answered within. I can probably get a list from the clerks to see who didn't recertify their licenses. Those are like usually the smaller businesses. So we can try and figure out on that level what we can do.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Joe?
If I could, Tony, just had a few questions from listening. Thank you for the presentation. And as always, you're right on top of things and we appreciate that. Unfortunately, we don't have a balanced budget and there's no plan in front of us to balance the budget. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of it right now. I did speak with Matt Andre today. He's part of,
Who's Matt Andre?
He's the auditor for the state who governs our audit side. So like Joe Barbieri's on the residential side, our real estate. Matt Andre works with the state and Deb Wagner
Yes.
at the state. So he's under Deb Wagner. He talked to me today. There's a lot of things that Tanya had filled in today on the gateway side. So we're trying to hopefully within a week, we're going to have everything filled in and see what we need to do for financial transfers. So, I mean,
Well, it's interesting. You said Matt Andre and Deb Walker, who I have a lot of respect for and I understand their role. But what are we hearing from Room 1?
We had a finance meeting last Monday or Tuesday. We talked. It's about the same. My values were all set, and the audit side, we still have to do some. We don't have free cash yet, which is probably drives most of your decisions for financial transfers. You know, so the free cash has not been certified yet. So once that is certified, that's the major hurdle for balancing the budget.
How much free cash are they looking to certify?
I don't know. Rumors are 0.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. You're presenting values to us this evening as required by law. Right. In order for us to take a choice, if we so choose to use tax classification, we have to see a balanced budget, which only the mayor can do by
That's
presenting
correct.
us with financial transfers or appropriations, or perhaps an amended budget, or something to that nature.
That's correct.
None of that is in front of us, so we cannot take a tax class vote at this moment.
Right.
The state budget is still in the conference committee.
Right.
So if nothing happens between now and December 30th, we are not going to be in a position to take our vote. The tax collector will not be in a position. If that be the case, are we going to be in the same situation as last year where we won't be able to do a third quarter tax bill? Or are we going to get relief from the state while they're figuring out what they're doing?
Well, I've had, I've had conversations with Matt, so we're just still trying to figure out what everything's going to come up. I mean, to me, I don't know where, I don't know who's on this. Jeff, can you, I think he might be able to hear me. Jeff, we're having some bad stuff on the voice. I'm sure everybody else is hearing it too. So if you can mute anybody, and then when I ask them to go through, then they can go on, So Joe, according to what you said right now, there is
calls. One of them is Howie, which it's not Howie.
No, it's not me. I'm hearing the same thing you guys are.
Yeah, so it's
Jeffrey Anderson's on.
Yeah, it's this 5374549 number. So
that's me, Tony.
Oh, okay. So who's?
No, it's the other one.
Who's the 210? I don't know who. This is awful.
It wasn't a phone. With all due respect, it was Jeffrey Anderson's. They he shut it off, but every time he came back on, you could hear the noise.
Oh, okay. All right. But, right now I gave you scenarios based on. Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah,
that's one.
Yeah.
413-322-107261.
Yeah, no, it was the other one. It was Jeffrey's other one. So, but what we want is what I gave you. I'm sorry about this. I don't know.
Delete it.
Yeah, I don't know how to delete. I can't delete that. Jeffrey's got to delete that.
Jeff, can you come on board? Hmm.
There's,
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
could delete everybody or mute everybody, Tony, and then you'd be all set.
yeah, I mean, the stuff that I gave you
Yeah.
is the highest we can go. So those scenarios, if we were to use that levy amount,
Somebody's doing that on purpose.
yeah, yeah. So,
Is Jeffrey
Um,
on the other side there? Jeffrey,
well, there's two Jeffrey Anderson Burgess. There's two of them. So I believe it's the one that's probably a fake one over there.
yeah. It's the
Um,
one that says host on it. So
yeah, but like I said before, I mean, your question. I don't know what to do, guys. I'm not the host, so I can't get him out.
There's some
Tony,
kind of
isn't
cloud,
Holyoke
obviously.
Media the host?
Is it in Holyoke Media?
Tony, is Holyoke Media the host?
No, Holyoke Media just sets us up on the Access channel. They
Yeah,
may still be present, but they don't have to be.
My only point is, the key is whoever is the host can immediately delete whichever this one is, because every time they go off mute, Jeffrey Anderson Burgos, that's when we hear that noise.
yeah.
Please continue.
All right.
Well, I got a
Yeah,
couple more questions, and I think I'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
You mentioned on the manufacturing for
Go ahead, Joe.
the different zone for manufacturing marijuana.
Whoever it is, they got the brain about the size of a caraway seed.
Yeah,
The key is whoever's the host. That's all. They can blot it out.
I know that's Jeffrey, so he's got to get rid of him. The industrial. What was the question again?
You said they get recategorized, or there's a zone?
Yes, that was the industrial buildings that went to cannabis. So
Yep.
what we're going to do is just reclassify them as a
Are you
commercial
moving
instead of
across the road, Tony?
industrial. So, and that's it.
We got a telephone call coming in that's doing a Zoom bomb.
Yeah. It's saying it's your,
7621 is the last number. Thanks.
thanks,
I think
Joe.
we're okay. Tony, he made you a co-host and he removed the number.
All right.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said before, it was for the industrial manufacturing to commercial agriculture for the commercial. It's still there.
yeah,
It's annoying.
somebody got in under Jeffrey Anderson Burgos' name.
Yeah.
And clearly that's not Jeffrey Anderson.
I don't,
Since he got rid of the other phone number, can he get rid of that one where he's saying host? We still got him as still there.
Only the host has the prerogative of being able to do it. Whoever's our host,
I'm
They
not,
can-
I'm not the host.
they can delete it. It's easy.
Yeah, I'm not the host.
Who is? Do you know?
Jeffrey. So
Where is he?
I don't know. He just texted. So
Jeff is having he's got no audio, so someone's overridden him as the host.
Right. Right. Yeah. So,
All right, so the agricultural,
right.
does that have an impact on the values?
Yes, it does. It'll increase the values on the industrial buildings. We put it as a commercial block also for the type of building. So the growing and the selling facilities will also increase as we go along, as we get more and more over the next few years. So.
And Tony, just two more questions. And thank Helene for all her wisdom and some good questions about what's going on with COVID. COVID relief, it's not known, but we know it's coming. Does that have an impact on values, or does that have an impact on businesses and abatements?
It won't for this year. It will for next year, I suspect. For me, I think the most relevant part would probably be the office buildings that are in the city for vacancies, because a lot of people are going to move out during this year. And if that comes into play, then the vacancy rates are going to be driven up for the city just on the office buildings. So everybody's working from home now. So we're going to have to work around that and make sure we do adjustments through there. So.
My final question, Tony, is the tax levy itself, that number is higher than when we had our budget hearings, which is good news. And you explained why it's higher, which is good news, 2 years in a row. But my question is the mayor going to use the full amount of that tax levy?
Right now, I can't answer that for him.
But you used it yourself to put the numbers in front of us, correct?
Yes, I mean, I use that just as a guide right now if we were to use the whole 57 million.
So if the mayor doesn't use it, or if he doesn't put a supplemental budget in front of us, that number could change, which would change the whole scale.
Right, I would do changes for you.
Because right now it's looking very hard to keep commercial under $40.
I know, and there is a reason for that. Over the last 10 years, our residential factor per se has gone from 70% to 75% over the past 10 years. So we've gained, as a city, 5% total value on the residential over the commercial. And that reiterates what Helene had said about, losing commercial base. We're trying to keep our commercial base. We're trying to work. I know economic development's been working hard for projects. We did have some really good TIF programs that have worked. And, hopefully those projects can continue over the next 5 years to maybe even balance it out and get back to that, almost 30% commercial rate over the next 5 years.
I think what we're going to have to look at is average tax bills before and average tax bills under whatever scenario we end up with.
Right.
Because if residential's increased that much and we got the known decreases in commercial, the good increases, but the business loss, which we know a big part of it is the mall, I'm guessing, is we're going to have to look at average tax bills to make sense out of this, and not what the tax rate was last year or last 2 or 3 years. Can you make those average tax bills available and give us some scenarios?
Yeah, I can do that on, I mean, we have value increases plus, I don't see you guys making a vote where residential doesn't increase this year. And, that's an unfortunate situation. It's just the way it is. I mean, balanced budget yet, so I can't tell to plug in those numbers. But once that budget is balanced and the transfers are in front of you, I will have those scenarios for you.
Okay. Again, thank you. And it's a lot of good information. And obviously, we need to hear from Room 1. We need to hear from the state, and we need to plug in some of the answers or questions that we have before we're even close to taking a vote. At least that's my own humble opinion.
No, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mike Sullivan was next. I'll let Mike talk.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. So, in the combined decrease of commercial and industrial, even offset by the growth in marijuana industries and all of this other stuff, it's still a net loss of $31 million.
Yeah.
How much of that is it in one piece is attributed just to the mall?
Well, the mall went down significantly. We also lost Kmart Plaza also. So overall, those were about 44 million in value just for those two.
Okay, so
The offset's about 26 because we added about 8 to 9 million for Amazon. We had Dunkin' Donuts, we had People's, we had other, commercial add-ons that we've done. And then, like I said before, from the industrial to the commercial side for the marijuana. So.
Well, that's why I'm looking at them as just a combined number because it's still the same tax rate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're saying is the increase attributed to Amazon and the marijuana companies was about 14 million.
Yeah, close. Maybe
13?
more like
13,
44, about 18 million. Because we had the 44, and then the total on the commercial side was about 26. So we did have some growth on that side due to those.
All right. So just the mall itself, how much did that go down?
The mall went down to 40 million in value. They're still going to end up paying about 7 million for the year in taxes. So, yeah. I mean, they've been hit hard. They've been hit very hard. Over the last 5 years, they've had declining rents. They're a quarter of their rents from years ago. So, I mean, 40 million is almost 1/4 on the total value of that. It's staggering when we've had an appraisal that it sent us through a renowned appraiser, and he had concurred with, the mall's expenses, rents, their vacancies about 15% right now. So, I mean, when you take 15% on that total square footage up there, that's a big chunk of reduction. So, and the stores aren't as high end as they were 5 years ago. If you walk through the mall, you would notice. I mean, we're all Hoyokers. We've gone through it. You can see the changes in the mall. They're still trying to reinvent themselves through other avenues to get more people in the mall and to do more shopping. So it's still an ongoing process.
Yeah, no, you can see it, and they've done a good job. But obviously, all of the ones that are geared towards entertainment and bringing people in are still, most of them shut down. So
right.
All right. So overall, the mall was about a $40 million decrease. Well, all right. That's my only real question there. Well, one other thing, the bit about some of the marijuana stuff being classified as agricultural.
Right.
Agricultural doesn't, as far as property tax, it doesn't pay the same as commercial.
Yeah, if they applied for chapter land, but the chapter land, they would have to have at least 10 acres of property to apply for the chapter land. And they're in it for making money. They're not in it for, saving the land. So most of that stuff for the farmers is to save the land and the farm land. So you pay the reduced rate. But most of these people would not really, they're not on 10 acres of land down there, most of them. So. they wouldn't even, you know, apply to this, that scenario.
All right, so we're not at risk. We're not at any risk there of losing revenue.
No, no.
All right, those are my only two questions right now.
Thanks. Terry or,
Yeah, I have just
Terry.
in terms of the residential, the increase of 87 million, do you know how much of that is from new construction as opposed to reevaluation?
We probably had maybe 15 or 5 to 10 brand new houses. They were mostly duplexes, and a lot of new construction that was added on by, you know, like porches or additions, you know,
Okay.
but not significantly. Most of that is all sales driven.
So not a lot of new construction of homes.
Yeah, we had about, I know Gladish Capital did about 5 to 10 duplexes around the city. They've been pretty active, you know, doing them.
Okay.
And, you know, they work their way around the gas, you know, moratorium also. They're
Okay.
using propane for theirs. So they've found ways to, you know, reinvent themselves on, you know, duplexes.
So almost all of that increase then is really on those
Sales.
people that are already.
Yeah.
It's just the
Existing.
property values have gone up because of sales.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Tom. And thank you for your work, and I appreciate it. And I know it's, with all the other things going on, we're happy to get at least a start of understanding where we're at. So thank you.
Tony, it's
Yes,
Linda.
Linda, you're all set. You can go.
Thank you. I just want to make a brief comment and thank you for all of the information that you've provided. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be in the perfect storm of people with lower income, lower commercial values, and increased values on the homes, putting that onto those who are having income problems right now. So I guess all we can hope for is that the mayor will exert some fiscal restraint when he comes in with a revised budget, so that if we do have some money, that we can somehow set it aside if we're ever going to be thinking about building a school. Because otherwise, I don't see how in this picture that you're painting, we're going to have any room to do much of anything.
Yeah.
You can straighten out my dark vision if you can, but that's how it's reading to me.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. I mean, sales are sales. And like I said before, they've been driven by the interest rates, the low interest rates.
Right.
So it's been a buyer and seller market for both sides. And that's really driven home prices all over. You know, it's not just Holyoke, it's all over Western Mass, it's all over the state. I mean, even this year, as we speak, we're into November, and our values for single family homes they've you know, I do the deeds every day. I see the prices that people are paying for houses in Holyoke. They're going to continue to grow next year also. So
well, right, and as you said, that's a good news story.
Right.
A certain point of view till we get into setting the tax rate.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I mean,
but thank you for your accurate information that you provided to us earlier. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody else got any questions?
Can I ask just?
Terry.
So this relates, and Councilor McGivern, Councilor Sullivan, Councilor Bacon probably may know this.
Yeah.
I know, I think when we got the budget and the council dealt with the budget in June, we cut approximately $800-something thousand out of that budget. But I still think that budget, if I'm not mistaken, was off by approximately 1.2 million. Joe, am I right?
I think it was, right? I thought those numbers were right, 1.2.
Joe, is that correct?
I believe you're correct, Terry. I know there's a lot of talk about the money that's being siphoned into the COVID emergency stuff. and the money that can be put back by COVID emergency relief, which I don't know who can tell us what's going on, because I've called room one a couple of times and gotten no answers. Our president has gotten no indication that there's a supplemental budget coming or when we're going to balance the budget. And I've talked to our auditor. I talked to our chief assessor tonight. I mean, tomorrow's December 1st. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean.
So if, based on these numbers, if that 1.2 was correct then, and we knew even with that, we were cutting things, anticipating free cash and the potential to put them back in there, even with the additional levy, that would only give us about 300,000 additional. And the other, and Tony, I guess it's probably something not in your field again, but we've been trying to get information about revenues that we are getting from the cannabis industry, and we don't seem to be getting. I know Councilor Sullivan had gotten some information, but it seems like it's very limited revenues we're getting there.
Well, our stores were just put online for this year. So depending on when those revenues come in, I mean, we did vote on the 3%. I think
even for those that are manufacturing, are there some that are manufacturing that are now selling? I mean, their products. I thought there were.
Yeah, I mean,
because we're supposed to get 3% of the total revenue, from what I remember.
Yeah, I haven't seen the cherry sheets on those, so I wouldn't. I mean, I don't have that figure right off the top of my head. So.
Okay. All right. Thank
Tony?
you.
Yeah.
Tony?
Yeah. Howie, go ahead.
Yeah, Tony. Just quickly. What is the law regarding the timeline for the free cash number?
I thought Councilor Bartley argued that last year. Wasn't it supposed to be December 1st?
I thought so. Sure. I thought that was the number, but sure. In other words, if we don't, we need to have that figure rather promptly, because December 1st is just another day away.
I agree with you, Howie. I mean, I know. When I talked to Matt Andre, he said everybody is behind this year. So Holyoke is not the only one that's behind. So there's a lot of cities and towns that he governs in Western Mass that are behind, with, receipts. And, most of this stuff is due from COVID to make sure everything's on the up and up when you're doing all your balancing. So hopefully by, the end of this week, we have a clearer picture. If I do have a clearer picture, I will definitely get information to you guys right away when I get the emails from the state when everything gets certified. So as soon as I get those things, I can get them to you. Yeah.
Okay, Tony, thanks a lot for that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, to Councilor Murphy's earlier question, I forget who it was. I checked with someone at the state though, on the stores, on the marijuana stores, on the retail establishments, they have to report to the CCC on a quarterly basis.
Right.
So their numbers are a lot more forthcoming. The manufacturers only do it on an annual basis, and they, as we all know, they run on a real calendar year, not a fiscal year like we do. And I don't believe that they're required, if your year ends on December 31st, than what we've had for store sales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the short answer to that is I don't think we can expect to hear anything till late March.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks. Anybody else?
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Carl.
Allow me to share, given the tenor of the subject. I deal in foundations, and obviously in this instance here, when you're dealing with taxes, you're dealing with property, and it being zoned either residential, industrial, and or commercial. the key to our need in the city is new growth. I think we will all agree to that. And wearing the hat of being active on the Taxpayers Association, as well as being privileged to serve on the Redevelopment Authority, as well as the Development Corporation, there are two critical needs: lifting the gas moratorium, and coupled to that, being able to assess our land, and vacant land in particular, and whether or not it's zoned appropriately, particularly to accommodate our commercial and industrial growth. Witness the reality of the marketplace. The person that's going to make a new investment has got to know beforehand, is there land for X utilization? And coupled also to that will be natural gas. I'm hoping that comes the year 2021, we'll have been able to resolve both of those issues, particularly in the city where we have a lot of vacant land. And unfortunately, though we have a master plan, I don't think we to really come in as a city and say, in essence, the highest best use for this, or this is thus and such, and zone it accordingly. But then again, I pontificate. Just thought I'd share my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. If there's nothing else, I want to thank you guys for attending, and ladies for attending tonight. You know, we don't do these for, okay, Terry, go ahead.
I could just follow up on Carl's comments. And, you know, again, I think the gas moratorium, and I mean, I think we've got to be realistic in terms of what we do. Obviously, we want to make sure we work to have clean energy, but we've got pretty good clean energy with natural gas, it would appear. And I mean, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I know our city council's been pretty strong in terms of trying not to have a moratorium. But, and I'm, Carl, because of your involvement in all the development and all the industrial, have we had a lot of potential clientele that might have come to Holyoke had we not had the moratorium?
We have got 4 critical needs that have to do with natural gas. I will digress for a moment on a more personal level. I've been waiting to be able to move into my new unit that will be in Riverview Estates up in Smiths Ferry. How do you think I feel when we got a natural gas pipeline that runs into that development, but now that you guys have been able to finally give the approval for the added and final phase 2 and 3, or rather phase 3 and 4, putting in propane tanks. You can't ask for anything that's dirtier.
Oh.
And yet we've got a gas line that runs right into that project, and everybody in there is on gas. Now that's just the residential side. Talk about personal frustration. I don't want propane. But coupled to your question, Terry, yeah, there were 4 key, okay, commercial, industrial, that are just sitting on the sideline, because it's not just Holyoke. There needs to be an expansion of particularly the lateral coming out of West Springfield. We'll get into the one through Ludlow, you know, Long Meadow, Ludlow, and what have you, and then the one that was going to be farther north in Hampshire County. But the key is that the gas company, and now that they've been able to have the merger, they're not going to make investment one until they get a clear signal from the political environment, our political leaders.
Right.
That's the key. And of course, that's at a standstill right now because of this business of, oh no, you know, we got to go. Nobody's denying anybody in terms of we want to be able to curb the utilization and into the green environment. You've got to be out of your mind not to be in agreement with that. But it's called phasing. And in that process of phasing, you just don't cut your throat. And that's really what we're doing, sad to say. Yeah. And I'll leave it at that.
Bro. I agree.
I don't want to pontificate.
Agreed.
No, thank you very much. That's supportive of what we've thought, and obviously whatever we can do to try to change it, but we're limited on what we can do and what our authority is. But I appreciate the additional information and to know that, in fact, we are losing potential businesses that would want to come here, but would only come under the right circumstances.
And that's the key to our new growth, whether we like it or not.
Right.
Thank you, Carl.
We hear it all the time.
Thank
Yes,
you.
indeed. So, Tony, just say on behalf of Holyoke taxpayers and also on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, you have done a great job in pulling this stuff together this year and working with us and providing information. And we thank you very much.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, you did a great job for us. Thank you. And
appreciate it.
It's the whole community that you're doing it for.
Yeah, I mean, you know, council, like I always say, they don't have easy decisions, you know, and, you know, by you guys being here, it does help you make your decision a little easier, you know. I appreciate you being here because I don't have to explain stuff to you guys. Some people that aren't here, I might have to explain. So, I mean, it's an informational, it's a public hearing, and I appreciate you guys coming here. And everybody have a good night, stay safe, and we'll talk soon. And if there's any questions, you know, call me or email me. And like I said, any information that I get, I will pass along right away. Okay.
Thanks, John.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
Yeah,
Right.
thanks.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Night.